Hey, Jack. All right. You got this stuff?
Yeah, all cleaned in oil.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Beautiful. Let's get it on.
Who are these guys?
It's my theme music. Every good hero should have some.
The one, the only, Keith Montgomery.
Excuse me, can I get a cup of coffee? Black? Can't you see we talking? White?
Hey, and it's Thursday morning. How is everyone out there? Well, I'm Keith, and this is morning coffee with me, Keith, and John, and Martin. You know, I gotta say, the thing that really is cool about being a nerd or a geek are the conversations that we usually have, usually either at our favorite hangouts or, you know, when you're gaming together or even when you're at your favorite convention. And even for this show, I mean, what we talk about before everything really starts is kind of interesting, almost as interesting as what we talk about after the show is over. So, first of all, just let me start by introducing John and Martin. How are you guys?
I'm doing fine. I
Yes.
made some adjustments to my monitor, and now my camera's all funky.
Well, you can always edit your tagline and put, that's Wolfen was here. You're like Kilroy.
Yeah.
How are you, Keith?
Well, I'm all right. Headed into another incredible weekend. But first of all, let me at least say this or ask this. John, now you've recently had the opportunity of watching, let's see, what film was that again? Well, you've seen Dial of Destiny. And
yeah, I've seen the diaper of dementia. Yeah, I've seen Indiana Jones in the diaper of dementia. Yeah.
Seriously, how did you really feel about that movie?
I liked the first 40 minutes of it, or the 20 minutes of it. The stuff that was where they digitally de-aged him, and there was the whole, you know, when he was fighting the Yahtzees. That's what he should be doing, is fighting Yahtzees.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then they introduced Fleabag. And it was, let's just make Indiana Jones the drunk, bitter old man. And it just, wasn't a good movie. Mission Impossible, on the other hand.
Please, no spoilers. I have in the 5 for this weekend.
No spoilers, but it's a movie that has no slow spots in it.
Oh, that's good to know.
2 hours and 45 minutes, and I didn't even notice it.
Okie dokie. Now, to Penny, I have to say I feel the same.
Hey, Penny. No
Every time
spoilers,
I
Penny.
see
No
Marion,
spoilers.
every second with Marion on screen is always welcome by my part. I love that character.
Look, Karen Allen is she's a beautiful woman. She's a great actress and she can do anything. I have believed that for years. So, look, first and foremost, we have an audience out there. So I think it's time to at least say hello to Penny. Hi, Penny. Anima Confusa, because she's cool like that.
Yep.
D. Bud Martin, and of course, our good friend. Let's give it up for Loki himself of Loki's Mornings of Mischief. Loki. Hey, man. Look, if you're not doing anything, you can join the show if you want.
We can send
Come
you
on
the link.
in and yeah.
Yes,
I know
please,
how
John.
much of a
Send him
hard-working
the
man
link.
you are because you got your show.
Shows.
Yeah.
He's busy all the time.
Oh, he is busy all the time, but he's got that great morning show. So if you want to start things out every morning right way, Loki's Morning of Mischief.
Yep.
But man, I tell you, I think what we were talking about before we started the show was about Martin. You were not very happy about G.I. Joe and the Transformers. What? Why don't you just go ahead and fill us in on that one?
Well, don't. I don't want to be misunderstood. I'm a fan of G.I. Joe. I grew up watching the cartoon. I'm at the same time with Transformers. When I discovered that there were, in fact, comic books and they have been even crossover, was, well, what can I say? It was elated. I saw the last Transformer movies. I have suffered the two G.I. Joe live action films, and I am cautiously excited about the future. I contrary of what people believe that we on the YouTube we are only here to hate. No, these are properties that I love. I want them to be good. I really want it to be good because I want to watch a real a good live action G.I. Joe. And with Transformers, well, there's only one good Transformers movie. I have them all. I watched them all, but what can I say? I'm not satisfied with the final product. This last one wasn't bad. Wasn't good. It's enjoyable, very enjoyable. The characters are awesome. I I had my doubts when I went into it, but I liked the human. This is not very common that happen nowadays, but the human character were very fleshed out. I like them, and they are likable. They are not. Uh, oh, I won't want to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it, but yes, I hope we have a good product in the future. I hope, but seeing to the past, I don't know. I'm squishy. I'm like this in that situation of no. I know this time they will get it this time. But let's see. I think there missed opportunities. Hey, look, he's in the house.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are y'all doing?
Oh, doing good.
Hey, you're better now that you're here. Come on.
I was just outside
seriously,
watering
we
my
are in the
lawn.
presence of one of the major talents.
Oh, dude, no. I just do a morning show. That's it. I just do a little morning show.
And a comic show.
Yeah. Yeah, but
that's all Klobby and 24. They know way more
you,
about
my
all
man,
that than I do.
Yeah.
Still, it's good having you here. It's good. First of all, it's an honor to have you on this show. Seriously.
What? It's an honor to be here, guys. Thank you.
Really do set the standard that all the rest of us pretty much just thank you. Thank you for coming on.
Well, heck yeah. Like I said,
look,
I was just
today's show
watering my
is
damn
something
lawn.
that well, I mean, but having you in here and your perspective, I think you'll be able to add something to today's show. We're doing the top 5 most influential classic adventure comic strips on basically modern film and TV that they you know, how Hollywood is really seemingly been all about adapting everything. And these are the top 5 within this era, I think. Influential as far as what Hollywood's gotten involved with. Now, these aren't all necessarily ones that have been adapted, but these are all the great comic strips that have been out there. And these are the 5 that I think are the most influential. And I'm sure all of you will have your own takes on all of these. Okay. So let's start at number 5. Okay. Number 5. Hello, Bush McFadden.
I don't remember Hello, Bush McFadden.
Number 5.
When was that published?
1010.
Okay.
Anyway, that comic as well as strips have been seen around the world and have been read and enjoyed by multiple generations of fans since 1929. Okay, that's 10 years before Batman started.
Yep.
And there have been animated series and even a CGI movie from Steven Spielberg and Peter Jackson, of which I would love to see a sequel. But the kinds of adventures that this character has been on, to me, are the epitome of what it is to have some good adventure type entertainment that, again, was originally seen within, you know, the pages of comic strips and newspapers. And since then, this character, who is a reporter, and his dog, and the brilliant cast of characters that surround this character as he just travels the world and has adventures, they've been very inspiring. Now, have I been impressed with how Hollywood has adapted things? Again, like a lot of other things, it's not exact, but I'm not going to get down on it. You know, again, the Peter Jackson and Steven Spielberg film was a nice taste. And if you've never had seen the character prior to that, that was a good introduction, you know. But I'll need to see the other 2 films that they had been talking about. And it seems like to me they've kind of sort of forgotten about it, if you know what I mean. So, Loki, what do you think?
I think Tintin, I mean, you're talking age-old comic strips, and Tintin went everywhere. Tintin traveled the world, and there have been people that have criticized this book. There's people that have gone off on it, saying that it was, you know, oh, it's all Iskanome, and they don't get it. And it's all like trying to comment on something that started, I mean, almost 100 years ago. You can't put modern idealism into something that was started almost 100 years ago. It's like trying to modernize Tolkien. You just can't. They tried, but they can't. You can't do that. You got to tell it in its time.
It still doesn't stop them from trying.
Well, I think that's part of the reason why the next Bond film is going to be radically different, and why a lot of the people whose names you heard in previous years, you're not hearing those names anymore, because those actors don't want to do it.
Yeah.
They're completely turned off by the changes that they have coming for a character like even James Bond. So,
yeah. Well, the thing about Tintin was it's just not just an American or a UK or whatever comic strip. It was truly an international comic strip.
Well, yeah, it's a Belgian comic. So it was created by a
Yeah.
Belgian cartoonist, and it
Yeah.
became popular around the world. It's to me just one of those really cool comic strips. It's something that's meant for really fans of all ages. And again, this gets us into one of the other things that I'm not a big fan of when it comes to recent corporate entertainment, which is trying to take characters and changing them so much. I don't think one really needs to change anything. Just have fun with it. This is again one of those characters that you can appeal to a wide age range of fans from around the world and tell some really exciting stories. And because he was originally a cartoon, it doesn't necessarily mean that you can't have a live action version.
No.
But it means that if it's going to be animated or CGI, there's a lot that you can do and not really have to worry too much about any problems or as far as casting or any of the actors getting older or getting hurt. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Tintin's a good example. But like I said, that's number 5 on my list. Hey, Martin, do you have anything to add?
Oh no, I really didn't catch up on Tintin. I don't know why.
Okay. That's all right. It's all right. Well, look, you may not have known Tintin, but you know what? The one that I have at number 4, I think everybody's got an opinion on. That's James Bond. The success of the books and the films allowed James Bond to become a strip, a comic strip. And the look and feel of the strip pretty much tried to match up and live up to the action as revealed in the books. Now, this is an interesting choice on my part, given the fact that the character didn't originally start as a comic strip. For many people, I still think there are a lot of fans out there who are more fans of the film than they are of even the novels that Bond comes from. Yeah. Bond is I was going to say a complicated character, but really he's not. But he's a character that changes over time. It's one of the things that the more recent Bond films, they started to get that correct as far as leaning into what Bond actually thinks. But No Time to Die. Wow. It takes a lot as a Bond fan to just, it's not a bad movie. It's just, they do some things in there that just.
Oh, no, it's bad.
Yeah.
I was trying to be nice. I was trying to soft pedal it. Okay,
there's no time to die, but there is time to cry. Fuck off.
Yeah, I don't consider the entire run of Daniel Craig's James Bond.
Mm-hmm.
Jake Bond.
Yeah, Jake Bond. And not Jake from State Farm either.
Lots of deconstruction.
It's really surprising that they even did a comic strip, considering how controversial Casino Royale was when it came out. A lot of people don't know this. There was a lot of talk of banning Casino Royale. It had elements, too much sex in it, too much violence, too much. They considered it bondage. There was S&M talk. There was all this talk about how evil this book was. and the things that were in this book, and talks of banning this book and not allowing it to be sold in the UK. And it amazes me that a comic strip would be allowed to come out, considering how much almost reviled this original book was, because Casino Royale was the big kickoff. And there were people that did not accept this. They did not want a novel. They did not want it to be allowed. They did not want Ian Fleming writing more. They wanted this to be buried and forgotten and in the, $2 rack at the local mini mart. They did not want this to be successful. And the fact that we've got comic strips, we've got movies, we've got all of this content for this is absolutely amazing, considering the hatred for it when it first came out.
Mm-hmm. It started in the Daily Express in 1957, and I think they stopped doing it in 1983. So
that's a good run.
It is a good run. And I think the comic strip version got away with designing his look to match the way that Ian Fleming described the character. So you could get a really good look at what Ian Fleming thought that James Bond actually looked like. So, it's good stuff. A lot of the stuff that you would at least have seen somewhat in the movies, but basically trying to stick to what the novels had in them. And again, as a Bond fan, wow, just good stuff. Yeah. Good stuff. The movies may come and go and they may slide all over the place, but what can you do?
You can get the collections on Amazon for anybody out there that's like a James Bond collector. I've got a couple of them. They usually go by like 2 or 3 years in each book, but you can get those comic strips through Amazon, and I'm sure you can go to your local bookstore. You might be able to find some of them, but they do have those original comic strips sorted by year. You'll have 2 or 3 years in one book. And I mean, for the people that want to read that stuff, $20 is not at all that much to put out to get something like that. I'm sure you use eBay to get some used copies too, even cheaper.
Yeah. Or even on Amazon, they've got that little, you can click down there and you can see where they've got used copies, and you can buy used copies from Amazon too.
Mm-hmm. There's nothing wrong with used.
No.
Nothing wrong with used at all. Let's get to some of these comments, though, because I think we have some interesting things that have been said. First and foremost, I want to say a big hello to Memes of Destruction.
Hey, Memes.
How's it going, buddy?
What's up, Memes?
And, of course, Jacob the Critic. Wow. Everybody in here just having a good time. And that's...
Jacob.
Wait a minute.
I hope you're kidding or trolling. Because Nathan Fillion is Green Lantern.
Yeah, we're gonna have words, Jacob.
I think the fact that it's Guy, he's gonna play Guy Gardner, because we were talking about that last night. I don't see him as a Guy Gardner. I see him as a Hal Jordan, but I don't see him as a Guy Gardner. But maybe he'll surprise us all. If they're going the way it sounds, he's going to be like the one who brings everybody together. And that's not Guy Gardner. That'd be more like Hal Jordan. Guy Gardner would be the guy that's like, screw you guys, I'm doing this all on my own. Hal sounds more like the guy that could bring everybody together, bring a young Superman in and kind of teach him how to do stuff. I don't see Guy Gardner being that, though. No. So we'll have to see.
That you know what? Here, I got a controversial opinion on this too. I noticed that, and this is something from, many years ago at DC in the 80s, when they decided to make the decision to age up Hal Jordan. I disagreed with that, because you kept everybody else's ages the same. To me, aging up Hal Jordan was a mistake. I never agreed with that, and I still to this day think it's one of the dumbest things they ever did. Hal Jordan is a Green Lantern that is different than John Stewart. He's different than any other. I mean, all the Green Lanterns are different. They're different personalities. They have different strengths. They have different backgrounds, and that should be respected. I get the fact that a lot of fans that watch the Justice League animated series think they know Jon Stewart, and again, that you guys that watch that show do realize that that's an alternate universe of the Justice League. That the way Jon Stewart was on that animated series is not the real Jon Stewart. Okay,
you may have watched Jon Stewart, but you don't know Jon Stewart.
Well, he would never have a relationship with Hawkgirl because he was married.
Yeah.
That's one of those big things that comes from reading the source material. Unlike the people behind the MASH television series, guys.
Yeah,
and we'll get into that on another show.
Yeah, but, MASH is another show.
That's another show that kind of screwed things up a little bit. But I'm like you. I want to wait and see. I want to wait and see how this is going to go before I really get mad about something. I know that there was another actor added today. They announced that they're going to have Metamorpho.
Yeah, that was yesterday. Yesterday.
Did you hear about the casting for Darkseid?
No, I haven't heard that.
Christopher Judge is going to be Darkseid in Superman Legacy. I was like, oh shit! Oh shit! Yeah, Christopher Judge. Yeah, I wanna hear him say indeed, and then the I beams, the beams. I want to hear it. I want to hear him go indeed, and then the I beams.
Loki, he has been wanting to jump in on something because you do remember seeing him in The Dark Knight Rises. Yeah. He had one scene in The Dark Knight Rises, and it was just
I'm always be partial to Andre Brauham in that role.
Yes. And look, again, I know there are a lot of people that are they're a little fearful. I get it. And there's no way to get you past that. But I think I'm just gonna.
You might even say they're gun shy.
But good one, John. But again, I get it. I totally understand it. But I'm more of a wait and see. Okay, I look at it this way. He's at the very least he's bought some time with me between Guardians of the Galaxy and also Peacemaker. He's entertaining me, so I can at least wait and see what's going down.
Read this.
Oh, geez, thank you, Joe. Thank you.
Hey, I always like the fluffy explanation.
Dude in tights getting his powers from jewelry.
I always like Fluffy's explanation on Green Lantern when he's like, "Who's Green Lantern?" Oh, Green Lantern. He's this guy, and he's got this ring. He gets his ring. He gets his power from his ring, and he goes, "Yeah, it's super cool." He wears a ring, and he has power. And Fluffy says, "Man, no guy who wears a ring has any power."
That's not funny.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. The missus says so.
I better stop talking before I get myself in some real trouble.
Yeah.
Anyway, where were we? Oh yeah, number 4, James Bond. So there you go. We've done that one. And we are now at the halfway point, everybody. Number 3. Now, number 3, this is definitely a strip that I think quite a few people have seen. They've experienced. Hollywood has had some experience with trying to do something with. Not only successful, but look. number 3 is the Phantom, and I always liked it. I always liked the character. I always liked the story. Um, I know that there are those out there who have watched the movie. Well, he's all right. It wasn't really the worst thing. There have been a lot of animated versions of the character, but seriously, if you really want to get into the character, you got to go with the comic strip. And I just think that the thing about the Phantom is that his story combines so much stuff. I mean, it's pirates and in certain cases Nazis and buried treasure. It's all kinds of really cool stuff, and yet it works, even though it is also diverse. I don't know. Lee Falk.
Well,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's definitely a product of the pulp era.
Yes, it is.
So
Lee
it's got
Falk,
those pulp. It's got those pulp sensibilities and those pulp beats that you expect, but does it in a way that's more superhero-ish.
Yes, it is, but it's fun, and it just kind of really. I really can't see why Hollywood couldn't get its act together to do this. I look at something like, say, how you were saying earlier about Indiana Jones, the latest Indiana Jones movie.
Yeah,
I think James
diaper of dementia.
Delusion. Yeah, dementia. I think James Mangold would be perfect for making a Phantom movie, because you can get away with having, the older Phantom, the new Phantom, of mixing all that together. That story lends itself to something like that because you can get all that within the story of the Phantom. And doing it with just Indiana Jones doesn't work. That would be like if they did the same thing to James Bond or any other long-running character. It doesn't work. But with the Phantom, it kind of fits, I would love to see somebody tackle that someday, although I would like it to be someone that actually is a fan of said property. What do you think, Loki?
You've got to get someone that's going to do it right. That's going to honor the original ideas and the original inspiration for the creator. And you're talking about something that, again, is almost 100 years old. I mean, it's like, what, 97 years old now? It's almost 100 years old.
It's actually
87.
Yeah, it's 87 years old, and February 17th, 1936.
So you've got to have someone that can take that inspiration and honor the original inspiration behind it. You have to have somebody. And that's why the Billy Zane movie didn't do what they wanted it to do when that came out. That was my first introduction. I had no idea who the hell the Phantom was until I saw the Billy Zane movie and found out that it was a comic book. And the only reason I found out it was a comic book was my dad was like, "Oh, I used to read that comic. They used to have that in the funnies." And I'm like, okay. I had no idea.
Well, you also need the money to be able to do it. I think part of the thing with that film was they didn't have the money to actually do it properly. You had actors. that could do something, but you didn't have enough money to do it on a scale like you would have with Indiana Jones or any other type of film. So to me, you could do the Phantom for like $80 million.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think the Billy Zane movie was made for 80. And if it was made for more than 80, I mean, somebody was, tipping into the till there, I can't see that.
I would say as the quality that it is, I was thinking around 30.
Okay. Well, again, nothing against that film. Again, I thought that film had some stuff going for it. But it didn't have the same kind of feeling that you would need. I mean, for today's audiences, the way I would pitch it is, it's Pirates of the Caribbean meets Indiana Jones meets Batman or the
The
Shadow.
budget was $45 million.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's kind of low. Yeah, that's kind of low. So,
and it only made $35 million at the domestic box office.
and I think that's Treat Williams was the villain in that. So
Yeah.
the late great Treat Williams. Martin, what did you think?
Oh,
Now that $35 million's adjusted for inflation too.
Wow. Okay.
I wouldn't know. I'll wait.
Pass.
Did you at least read the characters' adventures in the comic strips or in comic books, or see any of the animated things that they put out? Or
Yes, I saw the comic strips, cartoons. Are we talking about the Phantom, right?
yes,
Okay, and the movie. And yes, I like the movie. Fight me. And if they're going if they're going to reboot it, I want Billy Zane doing anything, but I want Billy Zane on that movie.
Okay.
Yeah, as it would make a nice cameo.
Okay.
Even as the villain, the mastermind, I would like him as the mastermind.
Well, I mean,
or if they were going to update it and do it in a more modern setting, they could have Billy Zane as the classic original Phantom, handing over his ring to or his rings to a new Phantom because he can't do it anymore.
Being the old deconstructed, and no, oh my god.
Well, that's not deconstruction. That's passing the torch. That's
yeah. But the passing the torch since like 2015 has been synonym of deconstruction. You cannot pass the torch unless you're being destroyed in the eye of the audience.
Well, in the eye of a certain small percentage of people that are unusually loud on the internet.
That is what they have given us.
I could see that.
The torch is not passed; it's picked up from the ashes of the original character.
Yeah,
I could see that. Okay. Hold on. Cam's Crash Courses. I started reading The Phantom as a daily comic strip in the newspaper back in the 70s. I barely remember the movie, in all honesty. I do remember Billy Zane was the Phantom. Yes, he was. And out of all of those films out of the 90s that they made, Rocketeer, The Shadow, The Phantom, I thought that The Rocketeer was really a lot of fun. And I really did personally enjoy The Shadow.
Yeah.
I really do believe that they could get that movie into production tomorrow if they gave it to Sam Raimi. Because Sam Raimi,
my God, yes,
he's been burning to do this. Originally, Darkman was originally a Shadow movie that when he didn't get picked to direct it, he just converted it over into an original story.
Yeah.
That's what it was. So that's another character that you could get Sam Raimi to go behind the camera for, is the Shadow. In fact, I think he would leave the MCU to go make a Shadow movie. And personally, I think he'd be better off for it. So that's just my view.
The Shadow is so underrated, man.
Yeah. Well, the Shadow is part of the inspiration for Batman.
Indeed.
Yep. Yeah, it's definitely something that I would like to see. Now that gets us into the part of this There were definitely certain comics that didn't exactly make my top 5,
Yeah.
but they are on honorable mention. So first up is Tarzan, mainly
Okay.
because it's Tarzan. You know, the
Yeah.
Tarzan comic strips were really well done, beautiful artwork. Personally, I don't know if they're still making those. But the story, oh, wow. And again, I know there are some people, it's like, well, it's not politically whatever they say. It's Tarzan, it's Edgar Rice Burroughs, it's adventure, it just take it the way that it's meant.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean,
I wonder if they're going to do a Disney live action reboot of the Tarzan movie.
It's called
No.
Tarjane.
Well, considering what they've done for the lead character of all their reboots recently, I want to see them try and make that movie.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
No. I couldn't do it. I couldn't sit through that. That would be painful. That would truly be painful.
Yeah.
I could do it if you had certain people still at Pixar, if they wanted to do it like that. But no.
Yeah, well, I was referring to more of them race swapping Tarzan.
Oh, I know.
But-
Person of
Oh, no,
color. And
I think they will do that to Jane.
oh, that's yeah. And that wouldn't be a problem. That wouldn't bother me at all.
Yeah. I think the Burroughs that stayed would have something to say.
Oh, I'm sure they would.
But again, one of the things for me that really made Tarzan, put Tarzan on that list for me, is that when they first started the strip, the original artist when they started was Don Carr, who eventually passed it off to Mr. Hal Foster. Now, Hal Foster is one of those really talented artists who he, in my opinion, was one of the most influential comic strip artists ever. There would be nothing of what we enjoyed in comic books following his run, because I think Hal Foster did it from 29 to 37. So none of what we enjoyed in comic books, especially in the 1950s, 60s, 70s, and beyond, would have been anything without Hal Foster. And
Foster, he did Valiant.
Yeah, Prince Valiant is
Yeah.
his. Yeah, Prince Valiant is his. And again, I will even argue, take a look at some of those Prince Valiant comic strips as they were printed in the newspaper. You're talking some just beautiful artwork.
Prince
Beautiful
Valiant's on
stuff.
my list.
Oh, wow. I mean, as a kid growing up, you know, I got a chance to read a lot of Prince Valiant. That's what really attracted me to that strip, because it just looked great, and you couldn't help but really get into it. You know, the heartbreaking thing for me is when you got to the end of that week's comic, you know, because the Sunday comics, that's full color. During the week, it's always black and white, but the Sunday comics, oh
Yeah,
man.
you get all your favorite characters in full color. Well, 4 color, but you know,
true. So yeah, so that was one of my honorable mentions, and what Hal Foster did with Tarzan, just man, unmatched. There have been a lot of other artists, but Hal Foster is still my favorite to have ever done the Tarzan comic strips. So that's one. The other one being Steve Canyon.
okay.
It's on my list. The best way to put it is if somebody decided to do a kind of weekly Top Gun strip.
Yeah.
That's basically it, you know. If Maverick got his own weekly strip and you know, had all the people in his life and all the characters and all the things that he went through. One could almost say that Top Gun Maverick is a nice Steve Canyon type adventure. So,
yeah, definitely.
I know there's a lot of you young ones out there that you know, I'm speaking some sort of foreign language. Look this up. That's what Google's for.
Yeah.
What do you think, Loki?
Sorry, I was muted. Sorry. I don't know why I was muted, but I was muted.
Been there.
Steve Canyon, were you ever a fan of his, or were you a fan of Tarzan, or?
Tarzan, of course. You know, who doesn't know Tarzan? Oh, and I love the Sunday comic strips. So, and I remember watching the old movies, and the Sunday comic strips, and that's pretty much everything I knew was what was in those Sunday comic strips and the movies. I would love to see something fresh and new with that in it, but I doubt, like I said earlier, I doubt they would do that, right? I doubt they would have the huevos, I guess is the best way to put it, to do it right and do it correctly.
What about you, Martin?
Yeah. I didn't know that one. Remember, I was in Venezuela, or
yeah, he didn't get the same comics we did.
Yeah, well, we had the Prince Valiant, we had the Phantom, we had Tarzan, but that one specifically, no, we didn't have.
Okay.
To be a little.
Then for you, Martin, I would highly suggest at least, you know, taking a look at some of these. You could probably find copies of some of these strips online.
Yeah.
I know that our website's set up to at least show you some of this stuff if it hasn't been collected in certain comics. I know that publishers like Kitchen Sink Press was all about trying to reprint a lot of these. Can's back. Hold on. I watched the Tarzan movies with Johnny Weissmuller, who was an Olympic swimmer, as reruns on TV as a kid. I never saw the comics, though. Yeah, the comics were really good. They were really well done. Tarzan's one of those characters that goes pretty far back. I mean, even before Johnny Weissmuller. There was a couple of Tarzan movies that even predated him. And I would love to see a newer interpretation of the character, doing more of some of the adventure stories. People seem to always want to focus on the beginnings of Tarzan as a character. I still think Greystoke is probably my favorite Tarzan movie. It is not the best, okay, but it's one of my favorites. Christopher Lambert and that entire cast did a phenomenal job with that story. And I just can't get enough of it. So
now, what do you think about the 60s television show?
58.
No, 66.
Yeah, 66.
Steve Canyon was 58.
No, we're talking Tarzan.
Oh, Tarzan. Okay. No. I thought we were still talking Steve Canyon because Steve Canyon was 58.
Yeah, Steve Canyon was 58. And
you can watch it on Peacock.
Really? Wow. Okay, I may have to, as soon as I get off here, I may have to go check some of that out, you know? But I will say this also about Steve Canyon. Steve Canyon could easily be done now if they really wanted to make something like that. In fact, and I don't believe I'm about to say this, but they could easily just give Steve Canyon the CW treatment. In fact, in many respects, there's enough material with Steve Canyon to go several decades as a television series if you stuck close to what the original comic strips had. You know, because you're talking a guy that starts out as just a young pilot, and I think you go all the way until he's at least in his early 40s. So Just a lot of really good stuff out there.
Yeah.
Anyway, and I think the final film that I have is Brenda Starr. It's the final
Really?
comic strip, I should say. Yeah, look, you got to remember when I was growing up, Brenda Starr was in all of the Sunday comic strips, and it's basically a very glamorous version of Lois Lane minus Superman. That's who she is. And they ended up making a movie version of that character. Let's see. I'm trying to do this off.
Really, in fact,
I'm trying to get it off.
Yes.
Yeah.
In the 89 with
Yep.
Timothy Dalton and Brooke Shields.
Yep. They looked exactly like those characters. And the movie wasn't as good as I was hoping it would be, but they still ended up making one. And I think you can get away with a Brenda Starr right now. In fact, again, we're living in the internet age. She doesn't necessarily have to work for a big newspaper. She could have her own internet blog, but she could travel the world and be a freelance reporter. And it's really about the ups and downs and ins and outs of her life and the many people that she runs across. And some of that stuff that she's required to do as a reporter, some of it is borderline kind of like steamy spy stuff, you know? So I'm very surprised the CW never went, oh, you know what? We could do that. But I don't know. They never listen to me. So, so what do you think, John?
I mean, I can see it. It just wouldn't be on my radar.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I never read it. I mean, I think it was because when I was younger, I looked at it and went, "Oh, this is for girls."
Mm-hmm. Okay. How about you, Loki?
Man, I never read it. I'm sitting here looking at this stuff, and I'm looking at like the there was a television pilot starring Sherry Jackson that was never got picked up. Yeah, obviously had the Brooke Shields and Timothy Dalton film. But I mean, why wouldn't they want to do something like this? Now I'm looking at this and going, well, this ended in 2011. Why would they end it in 2011? When, I mean, we're supposed to have like, you know, strong kick-ass women. That's the whole thing. That's been the last thing the past decade. Why would they end this a little over a decade ago, 12 years ago, when we're supposed to have, you know, this is the age of strong kick. Maybe because they don't want you to remember that some lady's been around for the last, you know, 60 years kicking butt and taking names, and they don't want you to know about that.
I would make a nice streaming series. I mean, it wouldn't have to be something that you put on the CW. You could just steam it up a little bit, find an actress who wouldn't mind, you know, doing certain things and putting that as a streaming series. What's the matter, John?
No, it's just the way you put that. I'm like, you know, don't go all Weinstein on me now.
No, I wasn't even talking about that. No.
Gutter mind John.
He's just talking about adding a little Game of Thrones to it. That's all.
Yeah.
I don't know, kid. The only problem that I see with your suggestion is CW. Please, not the CW. They have a very bad track record.
Yeah, but this is basic enough and easy enough for them to do it. You know, I mean, really, I think if they put this on the CW, you know, a majority of their budget's going to go to costumes, fashion, latest fashion.
Batwoman.
No.
So,
yeah. No, see, that's what you don't want. You get CW involved, and suddenly Ruby Rose is playing the top character, and her girlfriend's Dylan Mulvaney, and you just don't want that. No one wants to see that, man.
Oh, Loki went there. Oh man, that's in my brain now. It's in my brain.
Let's see how much the stream will be up.
Oh, wait a minute. Shinotsky, hold on. Influenced by Game of Thrones, the CW. Now with more. Oh,
Yeah.
family relations. Okay. Thank you, Shinatsky. My mind wasn't even going there.
That's even worse than Loki's.
I don't know. You ain't getting much worse than Dylan Mulvaney doing something.
That's true. That's true.
Oh man. Well, hopefully I was able to at least surprise some of you guys with some of my honorable mentions.
Yeah.
But
I'm surprised you didn't throw like Flash Gordon in there somewhere. I was kind of expecting that. I was like, man, Flash Gordon got to be in there somewhere.
These were his honorable mentions. He hasn't finished his list yet. He's still got his 3 picks.
I got 2 more to go. Three more. 3 more. I thought it was top 5.
Yes, top 5.
Let's recap. Number 5, we started with 1010.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Number
4 is the Phantom.
No. Number 4 was James Bond.
Yeah, number 4 is James Bond, and number 3 was the Phantom. Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
So now we have 2 more spots.
Yeah.
2 spots till we get to the top. So
and I think I know what they are.
Really? Okay. What would be my number 2?
Probably Buck Rogers.
Oh, that's a good guess. But we had that on the last list we did, remember?
Oh, yeah. We're not going to do sci-fi. That's right.
That's right.
We're going to separate sci-fi and adventure.
Gotcha.
Okay. I'm going to give you another shot, though. What do you think number 2 is?
Sky Masters.
That's very good. Oh, look at you, John. Martin, come on. Would you like to take a guess?
Nope. I am at loss. All my options are sci-fi.
Oh, okay. Loki, come on, Loki.
You got to have something with Snoopy in it. If we're talking about adventure, we're talking Red Baron.
Yep.
Well. Number 2. Seriously, John, you came close. Number 2, Terry and the Pirates.
Okay. Yeah.
That, as I've said before, it is my firm belief that Terry and the Pirates was one of the influences that helped create the animated series Johnny Quest.
Yeah.
And again, it's a comic strip that combines a whole bunch of stuff in one thing. And again, I'm just surprised that Hollywood. I'm surprised even Disney. Oh, wait a minute. They don't do stuff for kids and families anymore, though.
Yeah.
Anyway,
well,
I'm just
Terry and the Pirates is on my list, so
it's the quintessential adventure strip, and I just think that it was, again, it's, if you grew up with something like, say, even Pirates of the Caribbean, this is still kind of something that's Pirates of the Caribbean, but with a child as part of your cast.
Yeah.
And it's Guardians of the Galaxy, but not in space. It's on Earth, surrounded by pirates and adventurers and high seas. Oh, but it's got everything. So
Black Sails, but made for families.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds interesting.
Wow, okay. I wouldn't have gone that far with it, but you know what, John? I see where your mind's at, man. I see where your mind's at. Okay. Terry and the Pirates is really the second thing on my list here. That was actually created by Milton Caniff, who actually created Steve Canyon. And it is it's definitely something that Hollywood has looked at, though, because Michael Uslan actually thought about producing an updated version. So, and Michael Uslan was the guy who was one of the producers behind the original Batman film from Tim Burton.
Oh, okay.
So, excuse me. But Terry and the Pirates was really just it's about a young American boy who arrives in China of its time, and he gets involved with a group of an American expat and all his groups of friends. So it's kind of like a down and dirty version of Johnny Quest minus the science and everything else.
Yeah.
So it really is an adventure strip. And I think they started it in 1934 and they ended it in 1973. But come on, man. I mean, can you not just see this and see how much fun it would be?
Oh, yeah.
Especially, a young boy in the midst of all of these ne'er-do-wells. What do you think, Loki?
This is another one I didn't hear about until later in my life, and it was the Dragon Lady. I remember my dad telling me about the Dragon Lady, and I had to actually look this up and find out about it. And I got a compilation book. I don't remember where I got it, but I know I got it in my 20s. And interesting. It's really interesting, especially later how they changed characters. They did a lot. There was a lot of character growth. And it wasn't just, we're going to have him do this now. We're going to have her do this now. Like with the Dragon Lady, which is what pulled me in the first place. She's like a pirate leader. But then during World War II, she's leading a resistance. But it's not because she's like, I'm patriotic or, I don't like Japan or anything like that. It was she wants to protect her money. She wants to protect her riches. She wants to keep all the ill-gotten gains and booty that she's gotten over the years. So it's one of those things that when you look into, you're like, man, the character growth. This was again like 70, 80 years ago. They knew more about character growth than they do now. Why can't we get characters like this now?
Yep. I really do wish that somebody would take that on, but you can definitely see why I think why I can see that they got some of the ideas for Johnny Quest from this particular comic strip. I just again, I'm all about it, and I think you could easily make an adventure from this that would be kind of fun. So maybe that's just me. How about you, Martin?
I haven't heard of that comic strip. It's the first time in my life.
Okay.
Well, look it up. You'll be surprised, and you'll enjoy it.
The character of let's see, the character of Jade in Johnny Quest, Race Bannon's mysterious lady friend, who he might have a past with, is very, very much like the Dragon Lady from Terry and the Pirates. Race himself seems to be more like Ryan, Pat Ryan, who is the adult that is the main adult in Terry's life when he enters at the beginning of the story. There's a lot of interesting little parallels, and oh, wait a minute, we got to take a break.
Oh yeah,
I am so sorry. We got to go to our top of the hour break.
It's not mandatory.
We're on KGRA now. We're on the KGRA Facebook
page. Okay, so here we go.
Hi guys, this is Gary from Pop Culture Minefield here on KGRA, and we're leaving for our first break. I hope we survive.
Did you know 75% of Americans are chronically dehydrated? If you struggle with focus, run low on energy, or when it's time to finally sleep, you simply can't, this can all be linked to dehydration, and Fuel Up has the answer. Our proprietary formula contains the finest cellular hydration with the strongest immune-enhancing natural ingredients. The Fuel Up system is made up of 3 different, incredibly tasting varieties. Wake kickstarts your day with a jolt of caffeine. Play boosts focus while hydrating your cells. Rest not only helps you relax, but also rejuvenates your cells while you sleep. Here's what our clients have to say.
I really don't miss my coffee, and you can tell the difference.
So I'm gonna take it for the energy. I'm gonna take it for the play. I'm gonna take it, all day.
And it works. That's the thing. It works. We love it.
Take the Fuel Up Challenge now, where we offer a Feel the Difference money-back guarantee. Fuel Up for life.
Hey members, the new KGRA DB app is now available on iOS and Android devices. Gain on-demand access to any KGRA DB programming. Download any show directly to your mobile device to listen or watch on the go. Go to the App Store and search KGRA DB.
Oh wow, we survived. Welcome back to the commercial break. Now for some more Pop Culture Minefield on KGRA.
Hey, everybody. Look, let me just say first and foremost, I am so sorry. I just wanted to let everybody at KGRA and know that it was definitely my fault. I ramble sometimes a little too much.
We just lost track of the time. That happens. Yeah. That'll happen with Keith. You need to.
That happens all the time with me. John would know. Yeah. And so we were just wrapping up Terry and the Pirates.
Yep.
And let's go ahead into the chat and see what everybody's saying. Look, I jumped back a little bit and I've gone to Cam. I started, let's see. He says, I started reading The Phantom as a daily comic strip in the newspaper back in the 1970s. I barely remember the movie in all honestly. And I do remember Billy Zane was the Phantom. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Cam also says, The Shadow I remember much better. A Raimi Shadow movie would be great. I listen to old time radio. The Shadow is a favorite. Oh, it's hard not to be a fan of The Shadow.
Yeah.
Seriously. Let's see. Oh, Penny. Oh, she says, let's see. Hold on. Let me get this kind of correct here. So she says, oh my God, my grandson is fighting sleep. She needs her nap. Well, you go ahead and nap, Penny. You can always check out the rest of the show later, okay? Let's see. Cam back again. Let's see. I'd like to see a really good John Carter movie. So would I.
I think we have a very good John Carter movie.
Yeah, but there's no way we're going to get a sequel to that. They're never going to be able to get all those actors back together. And look, Disney owes us one. So Disney, if you really, really, really want to make some money, get your head out your butt and work on getting basically a Burroughs universe is really what you were doing if you did it right. So, you were giving us John Carter, and you need to give us Tarzan. You need to give us Pellucidar and Carson of Venus also.
Yeah.
That'd do it. That'd do it.
Yeah, we could. Yeah, we could do it just those four.
Penny says, let's see, my favorite is the 1976 animated Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle. Yeah. Saturday morning cartoons and all. Mm-hmm. Wow. Let's see. Shinotsky says The Shadow. Oh, wait a minute. Wait. What was that last one again? Leah Brackett, Black Amazons from Mars. Leah Brackett is the person who actually wrote the screenplay originally for The Empire Strikes Back. And she had passed away, and so they handed it off, and Shinotsky also says The Shadow should be number one. Let's see. You guys cover Doc Savage yet? And let's see. He also says they made her like Shang-Chi, the Pirate Queen. Yeah. And my new nickname for Martin.
Oh yeah,
Keith, the Nerd Charmer. I'll take it. Okay. Number 1. Okay, now seriously, I had some thought about this. I had a lot of thoughts about this. I struggled with it. We've already had several people make an attempt to guess what my number 1, but my official number 1 is Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
I thought we weren't doing sci-fi.
Dun, 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 dun,
You know what?
dun, dun, dun,
There's a little bit of a difference between Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon.
Flash.
Wait a minute. While there are spaceships, it is still an adventure strip compared to Buck Rogers, which is a science fiction strip.
Okay, I think you're splitting hairs here, but
okay.
We'll allow it.
I won't complain.
Flash Gordon has more in common with Star Wars, whereas Buck Rogers has more in common with, say, Star Trek.
Yeah, I can see that argument. So,
well, let's ask Loki. Loki, what do you think, man?
Oh man, I love Flash Gordon.
I do too. It's nothing wrong with the pick. It's
Ming is
I
the
pulled
shit.
him off my list because you said we weren't doing sci-fi.
I had no idea. I thought we were doing comic strips. I was like, man,
We are. These are all comic strips. That's the thing about everything on this list are all comic strips.
So I didn't know that. Otherwise, I would have said Peanuts at first. I'd have been like, number 1, Peanuts. You gotta have the Peanuts. You gotta have Snoopy in there somewhere. My boy Snoopy has to be in there somewhere. But,
well, you know what?
I mean,
we'll add him to honorable mention. How about that
one? But yeah, Flash Gordon, yes. Even the movie, throw the movie in there. Not just even that old movie, even the 80s movie with the Queen soundtrack. We throw that in there too. Everything. From the movie to the thing they did on Voyager with the Captain Proton saving the galaxy. He's supposed to be Flash Gordon. Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
But what about you, Martin?
Dude, that is a question. It's fucking Flash Gordon, man. The only thing is I have to be one with that's Wolfen. I had him in my list because I thought we weren't touching sci-fi.
You know what? Then
But,
that means.
however,
I
won't complain.
That's okay.
I
I'm
won't
not going to
complain.
complain. That just means one of my picks stays in. So, besides Flash Gordon, I consider Flash Gordon and Buck Rogers above what my list is. It's everything, and then it's those two.
Again, before fans were talking about Star Trek and Star Wars, it was Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon.
Yep.
And that gets into what these things actually are. And Flash Gordon's more of an adventure strip, more of a fantasy adventure strip, whereas Buck Rogers was closer to being more like the kind of science fiction that was in a lot of the books that people were reading.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's where that comes down to. Star Trek is about the high ideas, and if not for the fact that they had already sold Mission Impossible, it probably would have had the budget to be as big as anything else. I don't know if you guys have ever heard about that before. The original ideas as far as the visual effects for Star Trek, because what they ended up with on the show was not what they originally intended. They actually had some high budget ideas, and a lot of what you saw in the movie Forbidden Planet was a lot of what you were going to get with Star Trek.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was again, the reason why the visual effects and the sets were the way that they were was because Desilu only had enough to be able to support one show. And they sold 2 shows. and they had to make a decision as to which show would receive the money and which show would go without. And it was decided that Mission Impossible was the show that was going to get all the money, and that Star Trek, they'd just have to figure it out as they went along. That's the reason why everything was the way that it was with Star Trek.
Yeah, and if you pay special attention to, I believe it's Mercer, Captain Mercer no, it's Captain Adams. Captain Adams in Forbidden Planet, he is Kirk. He is the prototype for Kirk.
Yeah, there were two movies that were the prototypes that fed into the creation of Star Trek. And one was Forbidden Planet, and the other one was The Adventures of Horatio Hornblower.
Yep.
Those two films basically combined feed into what Star Trek is. You know, again, Kurtzman, please just watch those two movies. It'd cure up a lot of stuff. It would help straighten you out almost.
You think Sleepy's gonna watch those? Did you ever see him depicted? Did you ever see Alex Kurtzman depicted in Hercules: The Legendary Journeys? Look up Alex Kurtzman depicted in Hercules: The Legendary Journeys. He's in pajamas and he's like always falling asleep. So it's just beautiful when you realize, holy crap, that's supposed to be Alex Kurtzman.
Yeah, you're right. Look, as everyone knows, Alex Raymond came up with a really cool idea of an adventure strip that he just happened to add some space elements to, is really what it is. Because if you take away the spaceships, it's still an adventure strip. It's Lawrence of Arabia is what it is. And you add in a scientist, you add in some ships and different cultures in the whole 9 yards. And it's pretty, it's simple, but when you see the artwork and you read the stories, you can see why it became popular. And again, I could easily, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm late on this, but I had to reboot my voice mod.
Savior of the universe. Dun, dun, dun.
The movie is a really, really nice attempt at bringing back a lot of that, and is mainly aimed at anyone that remembers the old serials. Okay. The comic strip, however, has a lot more in common with it has a lot more in common in many respects with, say, the Prince Valiant comics. I mean, that's really the look of those comics.
Yeah.
Very colorful. Lots of wide open spaces, buildings and settings. But when you look at it, you know, if you take away the spaceships and the lasers, it's a fantasy setting. You know, I mean, you have, you know, mini flyers instead of horses because people are dressing like it is medieval times.
Yeah.
So that's where the whole, you know, that's where you get the kind of I think that's really one of the things I should say that George Lucas got, because George Lucas does reference Flash Gordon as being one of the influences for Star Wars. In fact, that's the reason why he made Star Wars, because he wasn't allowed to get the rights to Flash Gordon.
Yeah. By the way, that wasn't my only Flash Gordon or my only Flash sound.
Clytus, I'm bored.
Ming.
What playthings do you have for me today? An obscure body in the Ascade system, Your Highness. Its inhabitants call it Earth. How peaceful it looks. I've listened to that so many times. I mean,
and then they go hit the hot hail button.
Oh yeah. It's hard not to have been a fan of Flash Gordon. I'm sorry. It's hard not to have been a fan of that movie. And again, the Queen soundtrack, the music is amazing.
Oh yeah.
but I just
My
think
number 2
that,
soundtrack of all time.
What's the number one?
Heavy metal.
Oh,
I just think that I think it's about time that somebody else tried. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I think if you understand exactly what the Flash Gordon comic strips were attempting to do, I think you could find your way past of doing something really big. And it's just, again, it's just it's Star Wars minus lightsabers and Jedi.
Who was the last one to try? Was it Sci-Fi? I know somebody did a TV
Yeah,
stick.
is that? Yeah, that really
We don't talk about that, Loki.
Sci-Fi Channel version from Canada.
Yeah, we don't talk about that.
I mean, yeah,
which,
it's been
you know.
it's been like almost 15 years.
Yeah.
Got it. Yeah, give us something. Give us something.
Yeah. I liked the New Adventures of Flash Gordon animated series. I thought that Filmation did a fantastic job with that. And those of you who were fans of that need to understand that they actually made a movie from that cartoon.
Yep.
You can find it for free on YouTube. It's called The Greatest Adventure of All. And it's a Flash Gordon animated film. And it'll bring back so many memories if you are a fan of that particular version of the character. So,
well,
wow.
Of course, the 80s movie have a very special place in my heart, but my Flash Gordon will always be the one in the serialized movies, because that was my first interaction with Flash Gordon.
Yeah.
The same actor who played Flash Gordon played Buck Rogers, Buster Crabbe.
Yeah. Yes. He was an Olympian.
Yeah.
And just an all-around just dude. And having that cameo appearance in the Buck Rogers television series
was awesome.
Where he played Gordon.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. See, you're bringing back so many memories. But
oh yeah.
No, Flash Gordon, in my opinion, is the number one adventure strip as far as Hollywood and everything else, because of all the stuff connected to it, and because I mean, it's been several years since the movie came out, but I mean, people still talk about it. People still reference it. And for those of you who are just uber fans, I mean, the stars still go out and they do conventions.
Yeah.
You know,
ones that we still have.
True. Well, I've met the leads. You know, I've met Sam J. Jones, and
I've only met Sam Jones.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
That blew me away when I heard his voice the first time. I was like, it doesn't sound right. I had no idea that they voiced over him. I had no clue that they did that in that movie.
Yeah.
Well, I've been lucky enough to meet Sam J. Jones and Melody Anderson. Melody was just amazing. An amazing woman. I wanted to ask her about Mandibles so bad.
That would probably be like bringing up Masters of the Universe to Dolph Lundgren.
Oh,
I think she had a good time with it. That was come on. I mean, that was a good show. Simon McCorkindale, come on. Classic 80s.
Dolph was doing so much cocaine at the time that he doesn't remember he did He-Man, Masters of the Universe.
Really? See? Oh, man. You know what? Somebody ought to... Oh, wait a minute. There already is a documentary about that.
Yeah.
But, again, the character of Flash Gordon is just... That film did so much for that character in IP, to the point where nobody, I think, has really tried anything since. you know, and again, even with the Sci-Fi Channel series from 2007, no.
Yeah.
It's not good.
Yeah. Not good at all.
Somebody else could come along and just try. And if you're one of those people that have heard me talk about the Dust channel on YouTube, there's a lot of ambitious people out there that have a lot of cool ideas.
I would like to see them tackle Flash Gordon.
Yeah, anybody. Just you don't need to be spending outrageous amounts of money. I feel a rant coming on. You don't really need to be spending outrageous amounts of money to do a lot of this stuff.
No.
You know, that's the reason why corporate Hollywood's in the pickle that it's in right now, especially Disney, is they spent way too much money. And that didn't need to be that way. But, you know.
Yeah.
What can I say? Some people just
they could even give the 50s look to the show. They prove with Werewolf by Night that it's doable and people will like it.
It's just got to be good. You just whatever you give them, just make it good, make it worth their time. That's all. That's it. That's all anybody wants. We're you don't have to just blow us away and spend more money than anyone else trying to get the latest and greatest in visual effects. Sometimes a lot of old school effects and really good storytelling can go a long way. And that's really what you want. I just think that with a character like this or any of the other ones on the list that we've named today, you could do so much with them. I mean, seriously, you don't need to really spend a lot of money even for James Bond. When they made Dr. No, I think Dr. No was like the cheapest film of the series. And you just don't need to go out and just blow the bank in order to make something. Just have a really good story. I keep repeating that part of it because that's the important part of all this. It's just a really, really good story. Everything else can be secondary. You know, I mean, if you go back and look at the movie, The Terminator, pretty basic special effects, but the story.
Motion. Stop motion. They used a lot of stop motion.
That's right. They used a lot of stuff, a lot of on-set effects. Just be creative. That's all I can say is just be creative. That's all. You don't need to just go out and, you know, spend money like the latest Indiana Jones film. There's no reason to go into debt trying to do something like that. You know, I don't know. It's frustrating nowadays to see a lot of this stuff and to know that at least with Indiana.
Did Keith?
Oh, I thought it was my internet.
I did too. I thought it was my internet too, but we lost Keith for a second.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
Yeah, we're back.
Am I good?
Yeah, you're good.
You sure?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What I was saying is I just it's just bad that this will probably be Harrison Ford's last time as this character and John Williams' last time scoring. And they went out like this. You know?
Yeah.
I'm just, again, if you're one of those people out there that enjoyed that film, more power to you. Seriously. I really do hope you got something out of it. But you know, I can't bring myself to support something by people who
the only thing you get out of that movie is disappointment and depression.
It's more the Disney bait and switch. It's not Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. It's Fleabag and the douchebag of dysentery. That's what we got. We didn't get anything else besides that. It's a complete bait and switch. And that's Disney's great sin is come and see this movie about this character that you love. And then you get in there and it's like, you're a horrible person and you're a POS and you stole artifacts from no one wants to see their greatest hero berated by an uptight twat that no one likes.
Yeah.
And who supposedly loves him.
Yeah.
I don't. You could have easily. Oh, hold on. Penny says only like the ending of Indy, nodded off twice. Well, there you go.
Yep, there you go.
You could have easily have made a film that played into a lot of the perceived weaknesses and made a movie about a guy who, hold on, Ford exchanged his legacy for a bunch of paychecks. Blade Runner, Star Wars, Indy.
Wait.
Look,
Blade Runner didn't do dirty to.
Yeah, he didn't get treated poorly like he did in Star Wars and Indiana Jones.
I heard that too, that they made him a horrible, like he abandoned his daughter. And I always argue that I'm like, no, he didn't. Not with Blade Runner, because with Blade Runner, he accepted the ultimate sacrifice to keep his daughter alive.
Yes.
He did not know where she was to protect her. That way, if he was ever caught, he was ever tortured, and they ever got a hold of him, he had no information to give them. The secret was kept, and he spent his entire life away from his most precious loved thing to protect her.
That is the ultimate dad thing right there.
Yes.
Outside of giving his life, that is the ultimate dad thing right there. So you can't really put that in that same category with, say, like what they ended up doing with Han Solo and what they've done with Indy. Blade Runner 2049 was a good movie, directed by someone who actually, I don't know, this is kind of radical, but he kind of liked the first movie.
Yeah.
So I know that's a big thing there, you know.
Where they bring Rachel out to see him, I was like, oh my God, that is the most underhanded, dirty, that is... Do you like me, Mr. Decker? And you're like, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. And it just showed that he didn't care. He didn't care. Harrison Ford's character cared. Deckard cared. But they didn't care. They just wanted info. Where's the kid? Give us the kid. We want to know how to make, we want to know how to make more of them. That way we can take advantage of them and do exactly what we've done with the other ones too.
Yeah.
There you go.
The only failure of that movie is they miss the visual context. The movie doesn't feel like Blade Runner.
I was saying I was saying that last night, Doss Wolf, and I was saying that exact thing. If you watch the original, the only time you see the sun is when it's coming in Tyrell's window in that big building, right?
Yep.
And you see it's more gray. It's not that black, dark, night, rainy. Yeah, you've got some rainy scenes, but there's a lot more light in 49 than there is in the original, and that throws you off. It's a different scene.
And besides that, it's crowded. It's dirty. It's stinky. You've got a bunch of bodies all living into this huge metropolitan area in these giant buildings. And not all this open space you get with 2049.
Yeah,
it's like they wiped out most of the world somehow, and didn't mention it. I mean, you think that would be something you'd want to mention?
Okay, we should have a conversation about that.
Yeah.
In another moment, because I have a lot to say in defense of the movie.
That can be another show entirely.
Well, you guys make sure you let me know. I would love to be there. For
decades. There are decades of difference between the setting of one movie and the other. And if you say that it cannot be done, that it doesn't explain, I just have a name for you. Dubai.
Okay.
Go
all right.
and
okay.
go and
all
look.
right.
How.
Yeah. All right. Although that's the reverse. That's taking a desolate area and turn it into an urban area, not the reverse.
Well, don't always remember, John. They had those things in the original. Come join the off-world colonies. A chance to begin again in an entirely new world. and they were constantly like trying to get people to go and leave Earth. Let's leave Earth. Leave, go start on this beautiful new colony world, which we all know there wasn't any beautiful new colony world. It was all crap. And they were living in domes and just trying to get people to leave by the busload, get off of Earth because we're running out of stuff.
Yeah, but see, most people wouldn't take them up. It takes an adventure spirit to pack up and go that far.
Yeah.
There's people that don't like moving across town.
True. Very true. Yeah, you're right. This is a whole show and a half.
Yeah. Anyway, but I do have a list.
Yes.
Now, I don't put my lists in any kind of order because I can't do that because I'm pathologically my list changes. It won't, they'll still have in the range that we're talking about. I'll still have the same stuff in there, but I might like something better one day than I did something else. So I just put them in a list, and two of them have already been mentioned: Prince Valiant and Terry and the Pirates.
Okay.
All right. So once those are out of the way, and Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon are above the list.
Oh, okay.
So we'll keep them off this list. So I've got three.
Okay.
And not in any particular order. There's Johnny Hazard from Frank Robbins. You're going to see a theme here on the stuff I like. Basically, Johnny Hazard started out as a World War II pilot and eventually became a super spy, Cold War super spy. So it was more, I mean, he did all the, he ran into sci-fi stuff, but he did the femme fatales and all that stuff too. So it was it's one of those series that I learned about, obviously its end of its life was in 77. That was when they stopped carrying it. So I had seen some of the end in comic strips in the newspapers, but it's through books, checking out the library, because there's a lot of companies that put out a bunch of anthology books of these comic strips because they could get away with republishing them, and that's how they made more money off these comic strips after they were in the thing. So the next one is Buzz Sawyer. Buzz Sawyer was a naval aviator.
Okay.
And again, he started in World War II. And I think they went all the way up into 78 or 79. And, it was more a military soldier of fortune kind of thing later on. You've heard of Buzz Sawyer, right?
Nope. I haven't.
Keith?
I have heard of Buzz Sawyer.
Ray Crane, it was Roy Crane, not Ray Crane.
Let's see. Oh, yeah, 1943 until 1989.
Oh, was it 89?
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay.
That's a long run.
Yeah.
Now, the last one by Crane, who created it, was in 1979.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that falls within action adventure. But I can't believe you've never heard of Buzz Sawyer.
Well,
And that's Buzz with one Z.
Yeah, with one Z. Yeah. Again, there was a lot to read. Trust me. A lot of you younger kids, this comic strip thing, that was our thing. And there is a lot of strips to read. Whether you're talking, Buck Rogers, Flash Gordon, but even, Dick Tracy, you had even Spider-Man, Batman, Superman. You had Star Trek. You had, I think, even for a short while, Space 1999.
Okay,
You
see,
know.
I didn't know that Space 1999 had a comic strip.
Yeah, just for a short run, short
Okay.
run, and Star Wars comic strips.
Yeah,
in the newspaper. So
I remember those.
Oh wow! You know, there was so much to read outside of the Peanuts, you know, and Hagar the Horrible, and BC, and Archie, and Sabrina, and I mean, you know, there's so much to read on Sundays, and so I mean, I tried. I really did try. Trust me, this is me we're talking about. I really did try. So.
Yeah. I can't believe I've pulled stuff that you're not. You
it happens.
On a list.
Yeah, I know it happens.
And my last one is there's gonna be an argument, but I'm gonna defend it. And that's Sky Masters of the Space Force, created by originally artwork by the legendary Jack Kirby.
Cool. Yeah.
And now it is science fiction-y, you know, because it deals with the space race and stuff. But that's something you can take away because there's also all the spy stuff that happens, the espionage and all that kind of stuff. So that's all there too. So it's not just space adventure. Of course, that's still adventure. So
true. I think it's it had a short run though, 1958 to 1960.
Was it? I thought it was longer than that. Let me look it up.
See, anything that Jack Kirby did is worth your time. That's what I tell people, because there's a reason why Stan was the man, but Kirby was the king.
I know why I thought it. Okay, I know why I thought it ran longer, because I had the book, the reprint book. So, which came out in 1980.
Well, 1958. So that's September 8th, 1958. Wow. There. What else happened September 8th? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
A
lot of stuff happened September 8th.
Yeah. The crew of the USS Enterprise debuted.
Yep.
Twice on that day. 1966 and 1973. So,
Yeah, but I would put Steve Canyon in my honorable mentions.
Steve Canyon would be good in anybody's honorable mentions.
Yeah. But I just can't. I mean, I never read Brenda Starr, so
it's all good.
But yeah, that's my list. Not in any order because I don't do orders.
You won't compromise that far. Oh, I have no list.
A lot of times when we do these lists, it's like picking among my children. I can't do that.
Yeah, I totally get it, man.
And I don't have kids, so this is how I equate it. That it would be like, you know, it's like asking me to pick my favorite video game.
Good point.
What genre? What's your favorite music? What genre?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To that question, you should answer like in Payback. That is just mean.
Yeah.
So
how can you try to and make me choose?
Yeah. So you said you had a list, Martine.
No, I don't have a list.
Oh, you said you don't have a list.
Okay. Yeah, because it's adventure, and I was more sci-fi oriented. However, Keith mentioned many of my favorite, like the Phantom and Flash. So I would be only redundant.
And
I prefer.
And Shinopsky, the reason why we didn't do Doc Savage is because I don't think Doc Savage was a comic strip. I don't recall it being one.
Let's see. Hold on. Let me think. Doc Savage.
I know they did Doc Savage comics.
Yeah.
But I don't think he was an actual comic strip in the newspaper. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't remember there being a Doc Savage comic strip. And of course, the books, you know, which is why we should do a show on just pulp heroes.
We should. We should just go ahead and make that happen, because there's a lot of pulp heroes to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's see. Doc Savage. He had lots and lots and lots of stories.
Yeah.
Wow.
Amanda Braun was busy.
Yeah, busy kicking butt and taking names. Let's see. Lester Dent, the man. Wow, I can't find anything about. Yeah, I don't think there was any comic strips. Wow.
I wonder if that's because the stories tend to be a little more complex.
Well, comparatively speaking. I mean,
yeah, comparative speak, you know.
Although, surprisingly, there were radio shows.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I just assumed that anything from that era had a radio show.
Wow.
Okay, this is news for me.
What?
Look at what Shenovsky is saying. Jim Gordon, the Whisperer.
Talk about Police Commissioner Jim Gordon, the Whisperer, i.e., one of the many sources Bob Kane stole from. Oh. Well,
the whole Bob Kane, Bill Finger, Batman, Who Made Batman is a show in and of itself.
Yeah, well, also the continual bad stuff.
Yeah.
With Bill Finger. Bill Finger has another character that not many people know, even though we did talk about a character that he did create or co-create. That's Green Lantern.
Yep.
You know, the original Green Lantern, Alan Scott, was co-created by Bill Finger. And again, nowadays, the modern day sensibilities have found a way of screwing them over.
Well, they tend to leave out all the original Golden Age versions. That's what pisses me off. Everybody's like, "Oh, Green Jordan or Hal Jordan's the Green Lantern. You know, he's the first." No, he's not.
He's second.
He's second. That would be Alan Scott with the magical lantern with the ring that had the weakness of wood.
That's right. And they waited until 2011. So we were talking 1939 to today. And in 2011 decided, oh, well, he's going to be gay now. So
yeah, we don't.
What?
Not in my canon.
They redid his backstory, and yeah. And it's like, again, there's nothing wrong with gay characters. In fact, Marvel has a couple of characters that were actually gay from the inception.
North Star ring a bell?
Yep. In fact, Astro City has Midnighter.
Yeah, Midnighter and Apollo.
Yep. And it's just, again, I've always been a big proponent of, as long as your character's cool and interesting, doesn't matter, you know.
Yeah. It's not that we don't like gay characters. It's just stop taking a character that exists and changing him to fit your worldview.
Yeah.
We want the character as they were created, not as or created then naturally evolved into. Not this, oh, well, we'll take this character and make him gay, or we'll make him from somewhere else, or whatever.
Yeah, Bobby Drakem.
Yeah.
Well, we could have what some people would probably call, old man screaming at the mountain episode.
Yeah, old man screaming at clouds.
Yeah, and
For a Simpsons
now
reference.
that we're into comic book characters, as I told you, I saw Transformers recently, and I watched the trailer for Craven, and I wanted to know your opinions about it.
You know what? Okay. Look, Sony's gonna Sony. Okay. Sony's gonna Sony. Sony's gonna do whatever Sony wants to do. And they have the list that they came up with, the formula that they were using to do all this stuff with. And it's a list they came up with right around the time that they started making X-Men films. And they've not really changed the list.
No.
So if you're someone that's never read Spider-Man by Steve Ditko and Stan Lee, then this is going to be no big deal for you. But if, like Sam Raimi, you're a fan of the Steve Ditko, Stan Lee Spider-Man,
Amazing Fantasy 15, baby.
this is just hard to take, man. This is just
hard
to take.
I laughed at that Sony's gonna Sony because when we were talking about Mission Impossible movies, and we talked about Mission Impossible 2, we said John Woo gonna John Woo. Explain how that part of a lot of that movie is.
Mission Impossible, the movie franchise, it jumps from 1 to 3.
No, three's the bad one. At least two has.
No. Oh man, we're gonna have to fight about this.
Three's the one by J.J. Abrams.
And but it managed to be better than the second.
Yeah, that's not that bad compared to the John Woo one. The John Woo one has a lot of stuff in there that even I have to just shake my heads, and they even do the thing with the birds and
the doves. There's doves in every John Woo thing.
I'm just saying, look, I put it like this. Now, this is before Tom Cruise changed his mind.
Yeah.
And was setting up these movies to be the last that he would ever do. I was thinking it would be great if Paramount and Tom Cruise were to come to an agreement and to go ahead and bring Mission Impossible back to television.
Yeah, that would be cool.
And just take all the actors who appeared opposite Tom Cruise in the movies that are still alive, their characters who are still alive.
Yeah.
You just bring them back into the television version and have J.J. Abrams as the guy who will run and develop that show. That'll keep him from doing a lot of movies. That'll keep him out of a lot of people's hair. And these are characters that he's already worked with in making the Tom Cruise films, because he isn't just a part of number 3. He has been and stayed with him all this time. So every Mission Impossible film since the third one, J.J. Abrams has contributed and has been a producer on. So my thing is, throw him this bone. That way you can distract him enough to keep him out of doing anything more with Star Wars or even Star Trek.
Okay.
And I think we'll call this good.
I'm just upset because they completely wasted Philip Seymour Hoffman in that movie.
I can see how you would think that. I can see how you would think that. I'm not calling it the greatest movie of all time.
No.
But he was the one that came up with the character that ended up becoming Ethan Hunt's girlfriend and eventually fiance.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just it is what it is. But I'm still looking forward to the latest Mission Impossible, and I hope that someday that they can have a Mission Impossible television series set within the same universe that Tom Cruise has basically helped to create everything in, so that you don't have to really start all over again. And you can just bring in a whole new set of characters led off by some of the characters who were on missions with Ethan Hunt.
Yeah.
And, just use a lot of the backstory you've already created through the movies. And if Jeremy Renner were currently busy trying to, live, I would have.
Oh, he's doing amazing, though.
I know. If he can't do his other TV show, I would have him do this. And make him the head of the IMF.
Yeah.
There you go. See? It works out for everybody.
Well, they changed the lore, though. There isn't a head of the IMF anymore.
What? In this new movie?
Kent Ridge still... Okay, they...
Okay, I don't want to... No. You know what?
Just go see the movie.
No.
Go see the movie.
Yeah. Please, no.
Go see the movie. Go see the movie. You'll understand.
Ooh, I almost got sucked into that one. It's like, oh, what?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Sorry, I apologize to the listeners. I almost went into spoiler territory. I apologize.
And we almost followed you.
Yeah. Look. That says something about the quality of work that Tom Cruise and his people have. Christopher McQuarrie, Tom Cruise, and everybody are working their butts off to earn your dollar. And that's exactly the way it should be. Everybody that works on movies, they're trying to earn your dollar. And unfortunately, you unfortunately you have a group of people out there that don't think that they should have to do that.
Yeah,
so we don't go see their movies. To it. Yeah, we just don't go see their movies. So, you
can tell you what. Tom Cruise and Christopher McQuarrie are going to earn my dollar again too.
As well, it should be.
Because I'm going to go see this again in a theater.
Now, did you see it at the IMAX or just a regular theater?
No, just the regular theater. I have to drive all the way up to Independence to go to an IMAX theater.
Wow.
So it has to be something really spectacular. And not that this is not a spectacular movie, but, it has to be something special.
Like
that sounds bad too.
Top Gun.
But I'm thinking more like Star Wars.
Wow.
It has to be that.
It's going to be a while on that one.
Top Gun Maverick had to be watched on IMAX. That scene climbing the mountain, wow. That has to be watching.
Yeah. I agree. But since McQuarrie and Tom Cruise hooked up to do the Mission Impossible movies, that series has just the quality is just insane.
And we lost Keith. And we need him to say goodbye.
Oh wow, we're at closing time.
Yeah.
So we'll do this last comment. JJ feels entitled to 100 million plus budgets for everything. And I guess Keith is back.
Sorry about that. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, well, you're just in time to say goodbye because we gotta go.
Yeah, we do have to go. Look, I want to thank, first and foremost, Loki for coming in and sitting with us and gracing us with his presence.
Oh no,
and
brother,
giving gravitas and everything
else. Thank you for having me, dude. It's my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
I know how hard you work, dude. And again, I want to thank you for just being who you are and setting the rest of us up good.
Hello.
You are really one of the good ones, dude. John, Martin, I am your host, Keith, and I just want to say have a really good morning, everyone. Thank you.